They keep
stacked on their bike.
Yeah. As their badges.
Because you don't necessarily want to put a sticker on your bike.
It is August 1st, 2023. And to set the stage, it's a couple of days after the famous Ragbrai bicycle trek across the state of Iowa, the 50th celebratory this year. And Karli and this is Wendell Stansby. This is who she was dating at the time. And we had high hopes, but you never know. Anyway, they have had a chance now for 2-3 days to relax. Wendell's back to work. At this time, he's working for an energy services company. He later got into a different profession, but we'll let future videos talk about that. And they've been talking about, we were going to go to the lake with at this time in my life, I owned jet skis. And then the horrible accident, and I was no longer able to ride them.
For that accident to happen.
So I've sold them, but there they are in the driveway. And Wendell has had a good work day because I told him hustle so we can leave at 4. But there's rain. There's rain. So, Wendell said, come on. Well, Karli came out first to clean up her mother's bicycle. And now they're working. Now, the thing that I like about these bikes is that they have proven their mettle. This bike traveled 500 plus miles. In 2023, the summer thereof, as they were able to take on the challenge that they weren't sure they'd be able to accomplish it. And for your children that are watching, it was 500 plus miles when you tack on the extra mileage that you two had to do to go to the homes where you were staying. Look how thin your mother is, kids, grandkids. As they are working on, and that's my bike. That's the bike. Now, Uncle Casey came home from the lake to get it. There is a little show of emotion. This is when your parents liked each other, grandkids.
Back before the fight.
Back before the big divorce.
The big fight.
Now, I'm working on your grandfather's bike because he's been so inspired from this story that we did it, and I think seeing some of people that he knows and really know the story of, seeing them accomplish such a feat has given him inspiration, and he thinks he wants to do it in 2 years. So
I'd like to do it next year without anybody, just myself. But you're saying you got to have somebody with you.
You don't gotta. You'll have
Sam and Betsy, I can get to know her.
I need my dad on a good working bike.
So Karli is going through the process of getting up all the old grit and dirt and grease. Wendell allowed himself, with the bonus he got at Christmas, to buy this expensive bike. It's not a $500 Kmart, but Walmart bike, that's for sure. And he's very protective of the things that he owns. He likes to take good care of them. And that's what they're doing today. So it turned out to be a drizzly late afternoon. Evelyn's at work. That was my wife during the filming of this video. She has since passed, and as you know, Grambo has moved on. But there you go. This is out in the backyard. We lived in Iowa still at this point. And I'm happy the garage is kind of fairly together so they can use it as a base. My workshop is in fairly good condition for as much as you can get that room in condition. A lot of stuff in there. And they're cleaning, and then they're going to grease up and take the bikes home. Well, they'll probably ride around Lamoni later this week. They're still waiting for their posteriors to heal.
I can already see it working.
So now that we've had a couple of days, what would you folks say about the race? It wasn't a race. It's a
ride.
It's a ride.
It was a great time, and I hope that my family gets to do it with me someday. I think all the Conrad-Davises should aspire to do it. What does happen? It's a good time. It's a challenge. It's not for the faint of heart, not for the faint of athletic. It's hot, it's mentally challenging, it's physically challenging, and I loved it. So many people riding together. It was the biggest year, 50th. They had over 70,000 at some points. Other rides across states are maybe 100, a couple thousand. So this is quite big. Hope it's smaller next year. Been enjoying walks with my father. Hope we'll walk again tomorrow.
So what do you think? Is there enough room for the both of you in that rental?
Oh yeah.
Lots of space.
Perfect amount of space for two people who have big lives.
I don't understand where you have collected a lot of stuff, Karli.
I wish I could tell you. A lot of it's my garden stuff. Moved gardens over the years. Accumulated gardening materials.
Here.
Hey, you guys have the same pedals I do.
Well, you know, my shoes fit in those with little inserts. Did you know that?
Yeah, I love them.
So let's get outside so we can get a better view of Wendell.
I need a toothbrush.
There's
A small.
I don't know. I'm scared of
see
it.
this one?
Yeah.
It's not that small, but it would do some work.
So you two seem to fairly get along well.
Sometimes.
What do you not get along over? What do you fight about? I understand that you both have different approaches to disciplining the dog and protecting the dog.
Just watching over the dog.
Caring for the dog.
Wendell, could you describe your thoughts for this dog, Willow? How do you feel about the dog?
Willow's a great dog who I greatly love, and very happy that Karli has brought her into my life at this point.
He doesn't want anything to happen to her
Yep.
that would compromise that in an untimely way.
Well said.
Well, I've heard, I've learned about, you know, how deeply the both of you care for this animal, and we've taken care of it for a couple of weeks. And I love it too. But can you imagine, have you stopped to think about what it would be like to have a child and the amount of love that you have for a dog, then transfer that love to a human being that looks like you? And
That you created.
yes, you created.
With
Yeah.
the person you love.
You can't experience, you can't imagine until you do it, I guess. There's no way to know. There's no way to replicate that outside of doing it.
You said you take this bike to Shields, right?
I took it once.
Did they clean it?
No. I forget why I took it to them.
Yeah. We often wonder when we fight about Willow, we ask ourselves, is this how it's going to be with kids? Is this how each of us are going to be?
Newsflash. It'll be worse. You have this dog Willow for a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
And you know that. You can accept the fact that one day Willow will not be with you.
Right.
But when you have a child,
It's there forever.
oh my gosh, the thought is that you'll outlive them. You do want children, don't you, Wendell? Does it matter to you what the first child would be, boy or girl?
Nope.
Okay. Do you think that your parents are anxious to be grandparents? Do they ever talk about that?
I think they'll be excited. They're excited to be grandparents, and I think they'll be grandparents soon.
Oh, your brother. Talk about your brother a little bit, your relationship with him. He will never see this videotape.
He is,
Are you alike?
some ways yes, in some ways no. He is, driven. He is definitely the smartest in our family by a factor of 2 above me, which is saying a lot. I'm very proud of him and the life that he has achieved and created. We don't live that close and we don't talk every day, but we keep in touch, and it's always good to see him.
What about your relationship with your father? Sometimes it can be strained.
It can be strained sometimes.
Well, no, I was talking in general. That in this country, sometimes there's a lot of men that talk about not having a close relationship with their father. I really don't know. I have no pre-information, so share me. How do you get along with your
We
dad?
get along well. We have a lot of common interests when we are working on projects in a mechanical sense. I think we disagree about trying to think how to say it. I think in social settings we disagree about how everyone should act and get along sometimes.
You're kidding me. Do pray tell. What do you mean?
I just think there's sometimes too much, or sometimes they're oblivious to what's happening around them and try to...
You mean over the top? Your father's a little too boisterous?
No, I think sometimes they're just unaware of other people around them. And we just try to make sure they realize. You know what I'm talking about, Karli?
I don't know what you mean. Are they empathetic for other people's plights?
Yes.
Like if they came here, would they kind of feel sorry for Miss Evelyn and I for living in such a rundown little town?
No.
Would they
I don't think
pass?
so.
Would they pass judgment on us?
I think they would...
Is that what you're talking about, Wendell?
I think they would recognize how different it is. No, what I mean is just like... Man, what am I trying to say?
What was I gonna say? He thinks his parents are socially, not necessarily socially intelligent, so their awareness, he always talks about them just like totally being unaware of the social context and not behaving properly. Can you come up with an example?
Yeah, like at a restaurant with a waiter, sometimes, not that they're mean, they're just, sometimes I think they're too much. Or too silly.
A lot of men my age do that.
Yeah.
And I think some of that has to do with them being his parents. I don't always feel the same way, but I can see where, like, I could usually tell the types of behaviors they're doing that irritate him. Like, I can know, like, okay, that's something that he thinks.
Well, do you feel like your father loves you?
Yes. It's nothing to do with that.
Okay. Is he proud of you?
Yes, definitely. He definitely is. What I'm trying to say is sometimes when I'm out in public with them, I get embarrassed and want them to act differently. That's all.
They're just a little more shameless.
Yeah.
Or they
Was
don't
it that me?
They
Same
just do their
social
thing.
profiles.
They just do their thing, and don't worry about others as much as I do sometimes.
Sure.
What others might think. That's all.
So is that a reflection of how socially insecure or socially...
Yes.
Maybe they're just comfortable in their own skin.
They are. Yep.
And he's not comfortable with that.
Yeah, sometimes I get uncomfortable with them.
Very interesting.
I wonder if you would get, like, do you get uncomfortable with my parents?
I don't think so, because they're not my parents.
Right, so you don't have to claim that
Yeah.
this guy being the idiot's my father.
Exactly.
Right.
I think it's just that, yeah. I think sometimes I get embarrassed about them maybe lacking social awareness.
Does your brother feel the same way? Has he ever
Yes.
thought of it? Oh, yes.
We get embarrassed together when we're all together.
Wendell, this is a very interesting conversation. I'm really glad I got this on videotape.
Yeah. Putting the bike in the
I can't wait to get together with them.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah, they're
so
great.
excited.
They're super great, super nice.
Super sociable, amicable. Yeah.
And they'll like me and Ev. I think your father will find Evelyn rather attractive. And
Does that excite you, or were you...
I love it when other men think my wife's pretty. She's pretty in her own way. Evelyn would never be on the cover of a magazine.
Maybe as a young woman.
But if you
she
get,
would've.
yes, she would have. Yes, she would have.
I think she would have.
Well, but this isn't a big issue with you and your parents. I mean, if that's the worst you would ever say about your dad.
No, it just exhausts
Right?
me sometimes when you hang out. It
Really?
just tires me sometimes. Because I feel like sometimes they're too much. My energy is not always on their level of... Yeah. That's all. No real issues, just...
Let me ask you this question. Do you think there's ever an excuse for a husband to strike a wife?
No.
Okay. What about if you came home and found your wife in the rack with somebody else?
That would be a sad situation.
It would. It's happened to many Americans. I'm telling you, man. So you got to choose wisely, my friend.
Yep.
Someone that you think would not be capable of that. And you too, Carlissa May.
I don't think Wendell could do that.
As you approach, yeah, well, they all say that.
Well, then how are you supposed to choose one?
But then what life happens? They get a little bit better promotions at work. They get a little extra cash. Wife starts putting on a little weight. Just like that video that Hillary sent you today. About how the wife has to be perfect all the time.
Or your man will stray, and the women will not respect you, so they say. So they've trained us. Dad, I'm going to take this off. You don't need it.
You don't?
No.
You sure?
It's already broken, too. You won't even notice.
Golly. Well, just a brief interview, 2023 August. Karli and Wendell have been seeing each other about 2 years now.
Year and a half.
A year and a half. I still don't know. If somebody asked me the story of how you met, I couldn't tell it. I forget it. Briefly, Wendell, what happened? Where were you?
I was sitting in my house, 8 p.m. at night, and I was on the dating app that used to exist before the government shut them down a few years back. And saw this girl, big smile, and I knew
Well, what else? I mean, you started to read about her, right?
Started to read her bio, I don't remember the specifics, but there was no red flags on it. And
Only good things.
Only good things. There was a dog, a larger dog on there, so I thought, oh, that's, always good. I like dogs. I like larger dogs. And so, yeah, I was very selective in my approach. And I said, well, I'll give this one a chance.
But can you tell me what else jumped off from the page? There was the physical attraction. You thought she's pretty good
I
looking.
think it was a big smile. I don't remember exactly what your bio said.
Not at all. Did you go to her Facebook? Did you Google her Facebook page?
I think it was later that and then I found her interview with the City of Loveland when she was interviewed as an aquatic specialist.
What?
You have an interview on the internet, like an article interview. The City of Loveland or Boulder, one of those.
And you watched that.
It was written. I believe it was written.
And so, how do you?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know.
How do you reach out on that app?
You just hit a like button, and so I hit a like button. It notified her. She, had probably dozens of potential suitors on this app.
I really did.
And
A little chuckle there from Wendell. A little chuckle.
the girl only gets 24 hours to respond.
And the girl has to respond before the guy can even talk.
She has to
her.
respond
I
to
have to
initiate
match.
the conversation.
Oh
To
yeah, I
empower-
have to initiate the
To
conversation.
empower the women to initiate the conversation.
And you have to match each other, right?
Yeah, so I sent her a like. I'm just looking for a chair to sit in.
Here, there's one right behind the bike.
And we
Or
both
you can use that
I'll
one.
sit in this. This looks comfy.
Yeah.
And so
We matched, but I forgot about
she
it.
forgot about it, got distracted, was out on a date with someone else, I think.
Yep.
Probably. And the time was ticking down before the match was lost forever. And we would have never met, kids. We would have never met, and you would not be alive. And so I extended the match. You get one extend. You get to extend
Overall, not with per person.
one extend every week or something. You give the girl another 24 hours, or the guy, whoever it is, an additional 24 hours. And lo and behold, 8 p.m., sitting at my house, message finally comes through. We message each other.
What was that message? Remember, the girl has to initiate the text box in order for a man to ever be able to say words to the female. And what was that message?
The message that kids that your mother said was, "You may talk to me now."
Hell.
So I did, and here we are. Now I'm sitting in the
No,
garage.
you're going too fast.
So yeah, we messaged back and forth for the next hour and left it at that. We exchanged phone numbers at the end of that message chain. Within an hour or so, I was heading out of town for a climbing trip back when I used to be an average mediocre climber. So it was going to be a couple weeks, I think, wasn't it? Or at least
Yes, it was holiday time.
it was
We were
in
on
December,
vacation.
so people were leaving town.
I was going to Damien's wedding.
Weddings were happening, family holidays. So we set a time to go grab a drink at a bar that neither of us had been to, I believe.
Brewery. Bar? Brewery.
Brew pub.
So what's that like? Nerve-wracking?
Yeah.
Parking lot, getting out of your car, you've got your best shirt on, you've had a good shower, you've shaved properly. Because you're kind of excited that this could be somebody special.
You're excited. It's tiring to tell your story again,
All the
Tell-
dates.
tell your life story. I'm sure Karli was exhausted from all the dates. So
So can you remember those first few minutes?
yeah, I walked up. She was in her red puffy and I was in my blue puffy, and I guess we hugged each other outside of the.
You do hug like that.
We've been talking.
We had
for
been
a long
texting
time.
for the last week, but we had not yet met
Like, yeah.
because I had been out of town.
But you still had no idea. Now,
Yes.
my question is, when you saw her, did you think, hey, she's as pretty as her picture or the video?
Yes.
Okay.
If not more.
All right.
We were also in the winter with lots of clothing on.
Yes. So do you remember what you ordered for dinner?
We started with beers, and then I think because we were meeting later, I thought I had already eaten some food, so we were just doing like small things at the bar. But I think Karli had not eaten dinner and was expecting dinner. And didn't tell me, or was kind of waiting to see.
Is this correct?
Yeah.
And so eventually we got around to ordering
something.
What did we get?
We got BLT, some fancy
some sort of BLT. Pork belly sandwich or something. And didn't they bring two? I thought we ordered one and they brought us and charged us for two. So we had a miscommunication, and then we had leftovers. So.
And were you comfortable in your discussions?
Yes, we had great conversation. It was very easy to talk with Karli. It was great. We had a good time.
So at some point, you both look at each other and say, well, it's getting late. We got to go.
And it was...
Man, there were so many gems in this first meeting.
Yeah, it was cold. I had walked there because...
No.
Well, I had gotten dropped off, but I was going to walk home because it was pretty close to where I lived.
But it was very cold.
It was very cold. It might have been about to snow. So Karli drove me home and dropped me off at my house.
He was embarrassed about it.
I felt a little awkward that this girl was taking me home.
But was there any, at the end of the night, was there any, I definitely want to follow up on you? That kind of verbiage.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, did you say, this kind of went well, Karli? I'd like to
see. For me, yes. I don't know about for her.
It went well enough.
Yeah.
And I knew we had great texting chemistry.
Okay. Yeah. That's good, yeah. So
what Wendell is failing to share with you is that we met outside the building, gave a quick hug, and he just kind of beelines to the front door, opens the door, really walks through it, does not hold it open for me.
I made a mistake. We all do.
I was like, okay. And
I don't know if I'd have made that one. Sounds like a little bit of your father in you.
I think there was maybe
social awareness.
I think it was cold and I was nervous.
And he didn't know if I was going to be upset because the whole chivalry is like, I can hold my own door.
Right.
Had all these.
Right.
Didn't know what to do. So he erred on the side of don't. And I'll never forget it. So now he always holds the door for me.
So what happens next? You don't go home and start texting again, do you?
I'm sure we did. And then I went home for Christmas and she went to Damien's wedding.
What did you think when you heard about her family? Did she talk much about her family?
I think she mentioned that she had 4 brothers.
Okay.
At that point, which I thought was a lot.
But it didn't concern you. Not really.
Not much.
Okay.
No.
All right. So you were texting back and forth while she was in California. Washington State. Okay. And then the relationship commenced after that. When you came back. Isn't that interesting?
It took a while. It took some time. Some slow.
Did you have any more dates, Karli, after Wendell?
Just Damien's wedding.
Sam was at Damien's wedding. Yeah. I took care of Sam.
Well, there you go. Year and a half ago.
Yep.
We don't know what the future may hold, but we have on videotape, for the record, how it all began. It is
August 2nd.
August 2nd of 2023. Karli and Wendell have been here for several days. And it's Karli's birthday in 2 days. And Friday comes. And we decided to celebrate tonight. And then keep celebrating through Friday.
Help eat the cake.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, little Karli. Happy birthday to you.
You have to turn off the lights.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Look at all this junk on the tape.
Oh, it's really
Yeah, just look at it.
it's really a problem, isn't it? 2023. It is Friday, August 4th, 2023. Wendell and Karli are wrapping up a week of stay here. Wendell's been working, Karli's been playing, jet skiing last night. And today they're heading up to a music festival in St. Charles, Iowa. Karli is finishing up her breakfast of hot dog and some rib and cucumber casserole. Her second gift from her mother and father is the following. Proceed.
Nice.
I had a little green one.
Please describe to the audience what this is and what it's used for.
These are little. No.
You would have opened one and it wouldn't be there.
I did, Evelyn.
No, I
did.
just opened it.
These seconds ago.
Tire levers, and they are metal, so you don't have to worry about them breaking.
And you use those to remove a tube.
A tire from a bike wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendell has a pair, so I liked them, so I wanted a set. So,
Happy birthday.
thank you. Woo. God, I'm gonna drop in my food again. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Wendell.
We definitely wouldn't have known. Paul, can I ask you a question?
Honey, you can do anything.
There was a little green umbrella that was folded up about this small. And
Yeah,
it
I've
was,
seen it. It's going to
and
be
it-
near the barbecue grill or in the
Why was
garage.
it out of my car? I had it. I had it in my car yesterday.
So it's your birthday. You're 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, man? You've had a good run so far.
Yeah, I made it this far. I made it to 30. I think it's going to be my best year yet. My best decade yet. Really excited to see how I evolve with this whole year of traveling and learning and seeing new things and my mind expanding. I am excited to see how it all culminates into the newest version of me.
How much do you weigh today?
Between 135 and 140 probably.
135, 140. And everything's good. You're eating ribs that your dad cooked the other night for you.
My favorite meal.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we should have some cake before we go.
You got it. The cake is left for you to polish off, my love. We're going to take a pause in the video and wait till you get that.
It's okay to eat.
So Evelyn, who does not like cake, is
I'm
eating,
hungry.
helping Karli polish
I
off.
like it because it's nice and dry.
This is the final piece of the birthday cake that her dad, yours truly, made 3 nights ago by myself.
I think starting early is the key.
It's pretty good, isn't it, Karli?
That's pretty good. Okay. Just like my childhood. Double layer cake. Wendell was like 2
I said I had one due by
layers.
2 o'clock, right?
Yeah, I told you had 10 minutes and then you did nothing.
Oh, I did not compute that.
That's the cake my mother would make for me.
Aw.
And that's the cake combination that I always make. Karli and Wendell. 2023. Well, Karli and Wendell are back from the spectacular Iowa music event 42 miles north of Lamoni. This Monday morning, I think it's August the 7th, and 2023, and before Karli and Wendell get back in the car to head to their new love nest, there's the remnants of the birthday party, 30. Evelyn's getting a little haircut. I asked to do it. She said no. The dog, this was your dog at the time, Willow, and he will be gone by the time you watch this video in 30 years. And this is Evelyn getting a haircut. They're tired, they're exhausted from a long summer, and yet we find out today that they've rented a special party barge for this weekend for friends to celebrate their birthday. Will there be food on the boat?
We're gonna bring food.
Okay.
So if you want to come out.
How was the music festival?
It was good. Very.
It was rainy.
We kind of laid down the whole time. We had a great view. We laid down. The song came on. The bands came on. We listened, and then the band left, and we put our heads back down.
What do you think, Ev?
Welcome to 30. What did I say?
So it's the end of a great summer for Wendell and Carlissa. This is the rig that they used and enjoyed in 2023. They're heading back to Fort Collins. The dog is leaving. The dog is leaving. Willow, take your last shot at freedom, Willow.
She doesn't even know what she's missing.
Do you have a yard?
Yes, we do. Got a nice fenced-in backyard finally. It's got a doghouse already in it.
Good.
Big.
This is how they load their bikes. Very green this time of year because of all the rain. August 2023. Lots of rain the last couple of days. Trying to pack up the remaining product. This time last week, Ragbrai. It was killing them. Today's Monday, a week ago. Oh my God, they were killing themselves. Aren't you glad it's now instead of then?
It's over.
Now what do those things do? Those plastic.
Level the camper.
Oh, they're
or
levelers.
Get you out of snow or mud.
Oh, cool.
You got us those for Christmas.
We did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep.
No, we didn't.
Yep.
That's good. Your thoughts? What do you weigh now, Wendell?
155.
So this is when you knew yourself at 155.
Yep.
It's a good weight, man. It's a good weight.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts as you head back to Colorado?
It's been a hell of a summer.
It has been.
We're excited for the fall to set up the house and start the next chapter.
Good. That's good.
Yep.
Well, here's the rig. It's ready to go. This weekend it was up at the music festival. Didn't give him any trouble.
Nope.
It is a Toyota, and I believe in the Toyota.
Yeah, me too.
And it's 8-cylinder, man.